Yo, 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 it's your boy Ron Flip the Jump Man, and I'm back with another Jump Man reaction video to the movie We Buried the Dead. Let's go. So, We Buried the Dead, right? This is a survival horror. You know what I'm saying? This is a psychological thriller built around grief, guilt, and lengths people will go for closure. So the core premises follows a woman whose husband is declared dead after a mysterious military incident. Instead of accepting the loss of her husband, she volunteered to join a recovery team. You know what I'm saying? The task was retrieving bodies from a restricted zone. So she joined this, you know what I'm saying, recovery team because she was trying to find her husband. So once she get there, things get weird. This is not your regular zombie movie, y'all. Let's get that straight. I'm gonna break it down to y'all and explain to y'all why. This is not your regular Walking Dead. This is not your regular zombies chasing you, trying to come after you junk. I didn't even think that. So what the movie is really about, spoiler alert, spoilers ahead. The bodies in this place aren't fully dead. So this film leans more into like the uncanny, the line between death and life is kind of blurred. The husband of the voluntary woman she came looking for may be still there, but not in a way that brings comfort to her. She don't know that yet. So the deeper she goes into the zone, it's like an area where you can't really go into, you know what I'm saying? The more the story shifts from search and rescue into trauma, resurfacing memories versus reality, coding, like it's just crazy, you know what I'm saying? So more questions about resurrection and war secrets, you know what I'm saying? This movie is less about zombies and more about unresolved love haunting the living. You know what I'm saying? The horror hits on an emotional level when the past won't stay buried, literally or spiritually. You know what I'm saying? So some of the big themes of the movie, you know what I'm saying? Grief as a battlefield. You think, you know what I'm saying? You think you want closure until you see what's closing the loop really means. You know what I'm saying? And then playing God with the dead, you know what I'm saying? Science plus military secrecy equals consequences. You know what I'm saying? Letting go versus holding on. You know what I'm saying? The main character has to choose between clinging on to what was and surviving what is type shit. You know what I'm saying? This is not your regular zombie movie. We Buried the Dead was not your regular zombie movie, you know what I'm saying? This was a psychological zombie movie, you know what I'm saying? They might would say psychological zombie. So what's the takeaway? You know, the movie isn't just telling a scary story, you know what I'm saying? It's saying that sometimes we chase ghosts because we're really afraid to face reality. You got to do your shadow work, guys. You got to do your shadow work. And when we finally find what we're looking for, it might break us. Some people can't take that shit. You know what I'm saying? So the ending explain what it really means is. So by the time we reach the finale, you know what I'm saying? Finally finds the woman, she finally finds her husband inside this restricted zone, but he's not truly alive. You know, he's kind of like trapped in the limbo state. Like he's not even talking, he's not moving, he's not aware. He's no longer the person that she's remember, basically. You know what I'm saying? So the film, it makes it kind of clear that the bodies in the zone aren't resurrected. They're not resurrected. Their echoes are created by failed military biotechnology. All these movies are not just movies, they're documentaries too at the same goddamn time, y'all. So she has a choice, you know what I'm saying? She either hold on to what's left of him, a shell, a memory, a ghost of herself, or let him go and escape and stay alive and continue on, move on. You know what I'm saying? So she initially tries to save him, you know what I'm saying? Driven by guilt, love, and denial. But realize that keeping him alive would mean living inside grief forever. Forever, ever? Forever, ever? So, in this last emotional turn, she releases him or mercifully ends his suffering, basically. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Depending on the interpretation that you want to, you know what I'm saying, you want to use for symbolism and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So, acceptance and all that stuff. Symbolism, acceptance of this whole situation. So, the final shot reinforces that the message of the movie, you know what I'm saying, that the dead didn't come back to haunt the world. Not in this movie. They didn't come back to haunt the world. The living brought themselves back to their grief. So this movie isn't about monsters. I thought it was about monsters and zombies and the apocalypse and all that stuff. It's got a little bit of apocalypse in there, but, you know, it's more about the danger of refusing to let the past stay buried. That's why it's probably called We Buried the Dead. So the core takeaway, you know what I'm saying, of this movie is that we don't resurrect the dead. We resurrect our pain. That trauma, like that shadow work. You gotta go in. This movie was about shadow work, you know what I'm saying, in a psychological zombie way. Scene by scene symbolism, which each type of scene represents. So, scene 1, the recruitment, the entry into the zone. So, the military frames it as a recovery mission. But the tone is thoroughly and evasive, you know what I'm saying? It symbolized the sanitizing tragedy of what the war did, you know what I'm saying? Repackaged as logistics, covering up their shit, basically. Her voluntary equally means denial, disgust, and bravery, all at the same fucking goddamn time. You know what I'm saying? So, scene 2, the first encounter, you know what I'm saying, with not the dead bodies. So the bodies move, twitch, and react, but they don't think like humans. And then they had this grinding sound with their teeth that just made your fucking nerves go like, in the movies. So, you know, symbolism, you know, it had memory without a soul. Love cannot revive identity, more thing. If we can make bodies live again, should we? Or should we not? Scene 3, flashbacks of her marriage. Now she having flashbacks. Think about her husband. She think about the guilt. She want to save him. She want to see if he's still alive. All this and that. You know, the warm scenes contrast the cold zone visuals, and it's lots as the reels goes. The film reminds it kind of reminds us like she isn't chasing him. She's chasing who he used to be. You know what I'm saying? Scene 4, the other team. Members losing control. Soldiers are panicking. You know what I'm saying? Or they cling to their own dead. Like they cling onto their own dead ones. Hallucinate. You know what I'm saying? Symbolism, grief as infection. Not biological, but psychological. So the message for everyone brought their trauma with them. You know what I'm saying? They brought their trauma with them. Holding on to the dead and shit and all this and that shit. But let's get into scene 5. So scene 5, the husband is revealed. You know what I'm saying? He recognizes her on a primal level, but not emotional. His partial awareness makes it more tragic than horrific. The love cannot be resurrected. It can't be no identity to it. Only memory can. You know what I'm saying? This is not a moment where the illusion dies. No, not just yet. Not just yet on We Bury the Dead. This is not a moment where the illusion dies, yet, you know what I'm saying? But scene 6, final choice. So she realizes keeping him alive means keeping herself trapped. So by accepting his death means equals survival. Holding on equals rooting emotionally with him and basically putting herself at risk. So her decision is the true burial, you know what I'm saying? Not of the body, but of the grief she's been carrying the whole time, you know what I'm saying? And that remind y'all, when she get there and find him in the zone in the hotel, he was at the hotel cheating. Spoiler alert. It's not your regular zombie movie, so don't go watching this movie thinking it's a whole lot of zombie shit going on. It's not a lot of whole zombie gang shit going on. But 7, the quiet ending shot, you know what I'm saying? No jump scare, no big explosions, just silence. You know what I'm saying? Just accepting it isn't dramatic. It's painful, quiet, and necessary of this movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, where they going with this movie? Like, what kind of zombie movie is this? This is like some library zombie movie type shit. So this story isn't based on literally true events, you know what I'm saying? It's pulled from real world themes, you know what I'm saying? Like military experimentations and accessories and ethical debates and around biotechnology and reanimation, research, psychological trauma among soldiers and surviving spouses. So the human instincts to resist loss at any cost, it also echoes influence from extension war films, psychological grief, horror like Annihilations, you know what I'm saying? The Reverend, The Road, you know what I'm saying? Modern, more sci-fi about life beyond death type shit. You know what I'm saying? So while it's not a true story, it is rooted in real emotions, real grief, and real ethical fears, and which is why it hits hard. Pause. So every part of the film, you know what I'm saying, mirrors a stage of grief. You know what I'm saying? A stage of grief moments, you know what I'm saying, all through this shit, you know what I'm saying? In the film, like, meaning, like, denial, like she volunteered, you know what I'm saying, for the mission, you know what I'm saying, because, you know what I'm saying, he's not really gone. I can fix this. I can find him, you know what I'm saying? You know, anger blames the military herself, you know what I'm saying? Fate grieves becomes fuel, you know what I'm saying? Like the bargaining, I can find him, this would feel worth it, you know what I'm saying? Like chasing closure instead of healing. You gotta heal first, you gotta face your trauma, you know what I'm saying? Because if not, you know what I'm saying, the depression is gonna realize in what the bodies really are, love and collapse with reality. Like, you confuse the shit. You know what I'm saying? So by accepting the final choice, you know what I'm saying, she decides to bury his grief, not just the body, but in the zone, you know what I'm saying, it isn't just a place. It's like a psychological landscape. You know what I'm saying? Like, this movie hit deep in a psychological way. You know what I'm saying? So the deep symbolism, you know what I'm saying, on some key scenes that's unpacked in this would be like the dark fog filled in the zone. Like the fog kind of like equals in uncertainty plus denial. So it's like nothing is fully visible because she refuses to see the truth. See how they use the symbolism in this shit? You know what I'm saying? The deeper she goes, the less fog. The deeper she goes in the movie, the less fog. The closer she is to acceptance, the landscapes clears. They use psychological shit in this movie only when she's ready to face reality, though. So the flickering lights and failing tech of the equipment never fully works. Radio cuts out, flashlight dims, drones glitch. They use a lot of symbolism in this joke. So, you know what I'm saying, like logic plus technology can fix emotional wounds. Can it? You can't calculate grief. You can only confront it. That's some real shit. That's some real shit for your ass. So, you know, the bodies that move, but they don't live. They respond reflexively, but not emotionally. Meaning that the body remains, but the person is gone. Memory maybe equals resurrection or not. So this film it gives a harsh truth, you know what I'm saying? Love keeps the dead alive in memory, but not in flesh. These are just vehicles. These are just our bodies. So, you know, you got the medical, military lab elements of the movie, you know what I'm saying, where cold tones, sterile dialogues, procedural language, and what else we got there? You had some symbolism of society, industrial's grief, war turns death into paperwork, trauma becomes data instead of humanity. This shit, it makes emotional moments hit harder. You know what I'm saying? In this joint, you got to go on a deep dive in this joint. You know what I'm saying? But the husband, what he represents in this movie, he's not a monster, and he's not fully himself. You know what I'm saying? But he is memory, guilt, unresolved love, the past refusing to leave quietly. He recognizes her physically, but not emotionally. Yeah, this shit gonna go all over y'all heads, man. It's gonna go all over y'all head. This movie is not what I thought. I had to really sit back and like really think on this joint. Like, this shit is some other shit. So that gap is the heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? Like, she realizes she isn't saving him. She's trying to save versions of herself that existed before loss. So it's a mirror motif for this. So why she keeps seeing herself reflected? You know what I'm saying? Why would she keep on having a mirror of herself being reflected? So whenever she hesitates or breaks down, reflected surfaces appear. Why be buried the dead? Broken helmets, metal walls, water reflections, and it all has a meaning. Grief forces self-confrontation. The real battle isn't with the zone. It's inside of her. That's where the real battle was at. It was all within her the whole time. All she had to do was just go within. So they had the sound design why it feels unsettling. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know how the music hits, know how they have background music, you know what I'm saying? The soundscape shifts in 3 layers. Military realism, radio boost engines, organic ambience, wind, breath, heartbeats, sub-audible tunes, grief vibrations. Man, they did their thing with certain parts of it. So as an emotional intensifies, dialogue fades, environmental noise grows, the world drowns her out. Man, it was just, it's all different types of like psychological symbolism in this junk. Grief is loud even when the world is silent. So that final moment, the real burial, you know what I'm saying? She had seen a picture in the hotel room of like a boat going out on a fire, like being burnt. You know what I'm saying? So that's what she ended up doing with him, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it was about releasing, you know what I'm saying? The attachment, surrounding, control, honor reality instead of fantasy, you know what I'm saying? She was like, hey, I'm going to stop wishful thinking, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to just got there going, just honor this reality instead and surrender this shit, you know what I'm saying? No music, no drama, just stillness, you know what I'm saying? Because acceptance isn't somatic, it's just quiet. It's human. You know what I'm saying? So we buried the dead. So was he ever really there? Possibly. Literally. The bodies are biological test subjects. The military cross ethical lines, though. He exists physically, but consciousness, he was gone. The husband was gone. You know what I'm saying? The theme equals science. Without morality creates ghosts. Damn. I might need a drink of water. So interpretations too, psychologically, you know what I'm saying? It was a deeper read to it. The husband may never ever returned. The entire mission represented her internal grief journey. That's what the whole mission was about. Metaphorically, confrontation, emotional closure through symbolic experience. So the theme equal the mind builds worlds to process loss. And then both interpretations are valid. But that duality is like intentional though. Like the character archetypes, which each represents the survivor. Her name was protagonist. She was equal to the survivor. Panicking soldier equals anger. Mission leader equals rational suppression. Quiet team member equals numb depression. Husband equals the past. The team is a living grief diagram. So the core message of this film is, we don't haunt the dead. We haunt ourselves when we refuse to let go. Love survive as a memory. Only a fucking memory, but not a possession. Acceptance is forgetting. It's releasing the weight though. This was a psychological zombie movie. We buried the dead, man. Once I started to unravel and be aware of it all, I said, you know what? I'm gonna get this motherfucker 5 popcorns. I can't throw it out. It was decent. Peace. I'm out. Wadu. Jump, man.